I like the Suns tonight. I like them laying 6. I thought that spread was fat for how bad they've been playing this season early on and how good Minnesota has looked.
Not so fast.
Midget.
Yeah, little guy. Hey, not so fast.
This is the first game of Booker, Beal, and KD. This is their debut together.
Yeah, that's fucking deep. Fuck Bradley Beal. He is the worst. And I'm officially off of the Suns tonight. I honestly might even fade him. Justin Herbert, I'm just going to say it. He's mid. Dak Prescott, he's a coin respecter right now.
Yes.
He is. Jameis Winston now.
I feel like he could go in the GOAT category just because he's Jameis.
You could tell last night. Kent State had no business winning that game. They were never winning that game. Shit bets. I cannot believe what my eyeballs witnessed on the court last night in that. What the fuck, dude?
Took Nick Bosa over 0.75 sacks. So Baker is screwed. The offensive line is screwed. Nick Bosa is going to terrorize them.
No tens. No tens, no fours. No
Might
tens,
be
no fours. Love to see this.
not a single 10 on the board. Can hear you, though. Cam is just absolutely exhausted.
Okay. W's. Chat. How we doing? BT opposite 380. Great start on this Friday. Javon. Squad ride cash with Arizona. Talk about the Wildcats while I get my camera situated here. How we looking?
Yeah, you got it. W squad ride. We can go ahead and put up the recaps. We'll go straight into that so you can get that figured out on the back end there. Squad ride Arizona dub. Never a doubt. 4 quarters in a football game. People sometimes forget that. Electric game. Shout out the entire Oklahoma team for that ridiculous second half and Arizona for fighting. That was a fun game to watch, and even better that we had coins come home on the game in more ways than one. So shout out to Squad Ride there. Shout out the 5 for 6 out of the best bets as well. Only lost in that Cleveland under, which I kind of like too, and couldn't have been further off the both of us on that read, but everything else, absolutely fantastic. Rutgers, air, Arizona, air, all 3 props, air. Little Mima and Avery Johnson, but the other 2 literally were the freest bets of all time. So can't complain too much. We were pretty dialed in on the board yesterday. So we love to see that.
Definitely dialed.
Definitely
dialed. We were dialed. More dialed than my camera. You can't make it up, Javon. There's always something, brother. There's always something.
Never easy.
But
they never want to see something great.
The bets are hidden, and that's all that matters right now, folks. What else? We've got some great bowl games going on right now. Clemson, obviously playing right this second against Kentucky. Any wagers in this early bowl game, Javon?
I made a sneak little Will Shipley under Rager, but that's all. I'm almost sweating there. I didn't take a cider total on that one. Just wanted to get involved because he opted out, but then opted back in, and I figured he was going to do what some of the guys have been doing so far this season who are going to the draft, just play for a little bit, decrease snaps, and seems to be the case so far. So we'll see there, but yeah, I didn't get involved too heavily in that game.
Okay. W's. I need to reset my laptop because this is beat and brutal. Do you mind going over Trent fading the squad rides and Shelly being on fire? And I'll hop back in here in 2 minutes. Sure.
Yeah, you got it. You
cannot make it up.
Yeah, it's never easy, man. Always something. But yeah, shout out Trent. 10 units, Oklahoma money line. I don't know if he knew it was a squad ride at that time. I didn't even see this tweet until right before the game. So shout out the 10 units on the Sooners. That was beautiful. Right read, couldn't execute. Green X, hook. You hate to see it. And shout out to Bozo tweeting at us from his account 70 times yesterday saying that it was caked. So love to see that. And yeah, I saw that he said he saw after, which that's hilarious. And shout out to Dupes. We didn't talk about that square in that game because that was in the little 4-piece that we had. Goots, go ahead and pull that 4-piece up if you got that on the docket. I mean the amount of Mima in both Avery Johnson and Drake Stoops last night, can't even put it into words. Cashed a little beautiful 4-piece that we had, which was super surgical. Brennan Armstrong, that line was ridiculously high for a reason it looked like, because he was the one that was probably the easiest one out of anything on the board. He soared over his rush yards. He was Lamar, Avery Johnson, Mima when he actually got the run. Drake Stoops catched it at the end, and then Ted McMillan absolutely exploded early in the game, and then got a little bit in the end at one of those last drives in the fourth quarter where he caught like 3 or 4 passes in a row to finally go over. So super surgical entry. And yes, that Avery Johnson catch was one of the greatest ever. I was sitting at dinner looking at the final, and I kind of hung it up when I saw that they gave the ball back to NC State after they scored the touchdown on that drive. So I was figuring there was no chance that he was going to get a shot to run the ball on the next drive. And what do you know? 4th down to get the first down and literally put the game away. Huge. And the period where we were trying to figure out whether it was a hook or somebody had the wrong number for that 18-yard rush, which made his line go down all the way to right at 64 with the kneel. That was hectic. I was trying to figure out what was going on because I know I watched an 18-yard run and I didn't see it credited as that on every site. So glad we got to finish that. That was beautiful. We were dialed on the board yesterday, and that's not easy to do with bowl games. And not only that, but like Avery Johnson's that was his first start ever. Obviously, with Jackson Arnold, he had his first start ever. It's a tough couple of situations to make some props. So you gotta give the pat on the shoulder at some point. We were very dialed. Very dialed.
That's why you watch BTL, folks, right there. We didn't post that. That was a stream exclusive. That's why you watch.
4-piece, which was huge. Absolutely huge. So much legacies. And yeah, when I was hearing rumors of him kneeling and having 64 on the dot, I was almost in shambles. But thankfully he got there, and we will certainly go over some squares for today. So don't worry about that. It's coming up soon. But yeah, W4-piece. We also had that little sneak collab slip from Trent. I don't know if you want to pull that up too, Goots, but that was huge. We probably should be doing that a little more than we are, or a little more than we have recently. But yeah, shout out Trent. Crafted a little 4-piece with our meat on table props, which mine, I think of that entry was Stoops. Yeah, mine was Stoops. Krabs had the LeBron Bronny fade. You knew just Krabs had to do that one. Trent, any single time he has a meat on table, death square, Martian beam, whatever you want to call it, square, he just takes Jokic RA, which thankfully last night it turned green, and then Evan Bouchard assist. I was on that as well. Shout out Chelly, that cashed a minute in the game, which was beautiful. So, I mean, a lot of green everywhere on the Prize Picks board yesterday.
How about Njoku casting on the first drive?
Yeah, people forget literally cashed on the first drive. So
first drive.
Can't say too much.
Dennis Pitta in his prime last night.
Dude, no way we're pulling Dennis Pitta out. That's crazy.
I love that guy.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, he was a goat. He was Gronk before Gronk.
Exactly.
Who forget? He was a goat. And yeah, the LeBron square fade, that was a crab special, man. Absolute crab special. You can't expect anything else. And it was air. And the Lakers were also air, which that's a big reason why LeBron, I don't think he played a majority of the fourth quarter, if any at all, because they were up like 30 for a majority of that time.
Can we get some 10s and can we get some 4s? Please, chat. 10s and 4s. I need to see them right now. Go. Hurry up. I need to see them. Javon can't make it up, dude. The camera just exploded on the way to do the intros, but we're here. All right, we're here, chat. We got 10s. We got 4s. We are back. Javon, what did I miss?
Just going over a lot of the green on the Prize Picks board that we had yesterday. A lot of
green. A lot of green, folks. You can't make it up. 7 racks in the Prize Picks account. We are over 30K now, Javon. Counting my guap. Javon was trying to get in the lab yesterday with me, telling me about plays last night that were nasty, and we're going to get to them, and we're going to talk about them. And those texts were deserving. Don't get me wrong, but Javon, what did I tell you last night? I said I'm too busy counting my guap. The Prize Picks board, I mean, we absolutely annihilated it yesterday. Can we run that back today? Can we run that back this weekend? Maybe a little 5 guys entry. Maybe we carry that luck into this weekend, Javon. I'm liking where we're at as we get a fucking 10U sub whale from Fat Girls Inc. Let's fucking go, Fat Girls Inc.
Go.
Let's go, kids. Sure he can. Yes. 2 words. Yes. We got a hype train level 2, Javon. Cannot make it up. We got Addy84 coming in with a subby. Happy New Year's, guys. Happy New Year's to you. We got B Young 3141 coming in with a subby, Javon. W's. Love to see that. 19 months from the guy. Token picks. Giving out 2 subbies. The boys are dialed in on this Friday, Javon. And we've got no time to spare. No time to waste. Okay. Let's dive into today. Episode 380 piece. As always, chat. Hold the Fry, presented by SeatGeek. If you guys are going to any games this weekend, please get your tickets on SeatGeek. The fees are low. The tickets are cheap. Use promo code BOOKIT for $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek, okay? And guys, let's not let Chelly get swept under the rug either right now, okay? He's been absolutely on fuego, Javon. He's been killing it. Dialed on the ice recently. Dialed on the ice. Another POD last night. We locked this one in on Night Sweats, little squad ride, Javon, and it smacked. Never in doubt. First period under, and then the second period, I think they had 4 goals. So great call there, Chelly. Stay fucking hot, my man. Chat. If you're looking for some hockey plays, Chelly is seeing the board clear as day right now. Do not let those get swept under the rug. As we get more subbies coming in, Javon, T. Louie coming in hot. We got Brock D, our guy, giving out his subby. Swiss Cheese giving out his subby to the community. Let's fucking go, boys. Sure. W's. Love to see it. I want to dive into the games, but you guys are giving too many sub bangs. Got to tip the cap.
Yeah.
Sure. Awesome. Javon, went over the prize picks, right? Went over not fading the squad ride. I'm sure you pulled up the Trent tweet with Oklahoma on that 10U whale, right? I think that's enough of yesterday. Let's dive into today. We've got some bowl games we need to go over, Javon. We've got, I believe, 3 that have not started yet today. 3 pretty good ones. No complaints on my end. Oregon State, Notre Dame. We got Memphis and Iowa State. And then we've got Mizzou and Ohio State tonight, Javon. 3 great games. Okay, I've got one play in these bowl games that I absolutely love. Why don't we get started, though, with Oregon State and Notre Dame? Okay, 2 teams we've bet on a lot this year. Both of us closet Notre Dame fans a little bit. You probably a little bit more than me. But Notre Dame laying 5 here in this spot, Javon. Any opinions, any thoughts on that spread?
Yeah, spread's been coming down quite a bit, which I guess you really can't complain about in bowl games because fading steam, if you want to do that, has been pretty profitable. So it's not like it scares you off like it does in any normal game. But yeah, the line's been coming down pretty fat, especially this morning, down to 5. I think it opened 10 and a half, and I don't know what news led to that, but I still kind of lean Notre Dame here. It's weird because Oregon State quite literally has 0 team. I mean, no coach, no quarterback, no running back, no nothing. So they're gutted as a team. And to be honest with you, if I was a team like Oregon State coming off of a really good performance in the regular season and now your program's gutted, the last place I'd want to go is El Paso, Texas in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. So Notre Dame, when they go to play these teams that are, I don't know, inferior teams, I guess you could say, or inferior programs at the very least, regardless of the bowl, that's where they come to play. The fans get excited. So they're a little more juiced up on the normal than, I think Oregon State would be in the spot. Plus, I do think when you're a team like Oregon State, who your whole brand is physicality, which is not common in the Pac-12, and now you're going to a Notre Dame team that even without their guys out as well, they're more physical. And if you want to talk about motivation, it's pretty tough to be the more physical team when you're in El Paso, Texas, down really 70% of your team on both sides of the ball. So, I still think it's Notre Dame here. And I said this to the Gen, the Oregon State game last year in the bowl game where they played Florida in Vegas, and Florida was missing their whole team. They had, a new quarterback come and start the game. They had defensive starters that were out of the whole side of the ball. They got demolished, and Oregon State rolled in that game. It kind of feels awfully similar with what's going to happen in this game. And do I trust the quarterback situation for Notre Dame in this game? Not really, no, but I think they dominate in the run game. I love, no pun intended, Jeremiah Love today. Even though there is going to be a rotation of a couple guys, I just think they're going to run the ball down Oregon State's throat.
Okay. Go Irish, go. Laying 5 points. I like the under in this game. I don't think there's going to be many points. And I like that total creeping down almost a full touchdown from that opener. I think the defenses will shine. Like you said, Oregon State is gutted, especially offensively there too. So I think they're going to struggle. Notre Dame, you're going to get effort from them in a ball game no matter what. You don't got to worry about that. And I think this bet on the under is more honestly betting on that Notre Dame defense to do their job. And I'm not really impressed too much by this Notre Dame offense anyways. I don't really think they're going to be scoring more than, 25, 27 points in this game anyways. Give me the under. It's sharp. The splits look good. The total's dropping. No fun game here. Going to soar under. The Irish maybe pull out a little cover late with a legacy rushing touchdown. I've already seen it. And then everybody's in piss taking the Beavers, thinking they're sharp. And Notre Dame gets a little Mima backdoor cover and wins by a touchdown. I've already seen it. All right, give me the Irish, but give me the under in this game. And let's go ahead and move on to game number 2 in the college football slate today. We've got Memphis. We've got Iowa State. Javon, this game reminds me a little bit spread-wise of the Virginia Tech versus Tulane game. You've got a worse team laying a fat number against a good team with some opt-outs here. I like Iowa State to roll. I think they continue to build on their momentum like we saw the Hokies do in the Military Bowl. This Iowa State program is on the come up. They've got a good young QB who I think is going to dominate in this game, and I want to take them laying a fat spread against a Memphis squad. It's been a public favorite all season. This team is sneaky good. Their offense is electric. Sure, Memphis is fun to bet on, fun to watch, but they're not going to cover this 10.5-point spread. It's so fat. Sometimes in these bowl games, you got to take what you know and throw it out the window. And seeing Iowa State at 7-5 laying 10.5 against this really good Memphis team, who does have a lot of opt-outs, tells me they roll by 2+ touchdowns. This might be my favorite play of the day today. Give me the Cyclones to roll and continuing to build momentum for this young program.
Yeah, the line looks especially fat when you consider that this is the Liberty Bowl. So Memphis is playing in their home stadium, which makes it very strange to see them laying double digits and the hook in this game. So, like, I definitely like Iowa State. I definitely like Rocco Becht. I want to take his passing yards because I think he dices that Memphis secondary. Something in my gut, though, just tells me it's going to be a backdoor, some kind of weird magic to keep this with the number with them playing at home. But that's a fat number, so I cannot fault you in the slightest for taking Iowa State here.
Yeah, that line is ridiculous, and sometimes you just got to bet lines and not teams. Reminds me a lot of that Hokies game and that Hokies spreads. Okay, pretty cold in Memphis today. People are saying, sure. W Weatherman in chat, love to see it. But yeah, give me Iowa State and the Cyclones laying a fat number for a reason in this spot. Are you getting to the counter with the Cyclones here or anything else?
I'm definitely getting a counter with Rocco Becht. Yeah, that's my way to back Iowa State. But I still, I don't know. My head definitely tells me they roll. Heart telling me Mima's, sitting in Memphis in that stadium waiting for it. But I don't think it's going to be any shortage of points from Iowa State at the very least.
Okay. All right. Maybe an over. We're seeing this total creep up to almost 60 on some books. Depends where you look. Would not mind maybe backing an over here, but I love the Cyclones. Like I said before, guys, probably my favorite play of the day as of right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Missouri and Ohio State, Javon. Got to talk through this one. I think I saw you tweeting about it. That spread creeping up for the Buckeyes today. I guess a couple players at least, announced that they're going to be playing in this game and not opting out anymore. So maybe that had something to do with the line. Looks like there's more guys going for Ohio State today than initially expected. I still want to play Mizzou. I know Mizzou's public. I know people are betting on them. I still lean that way. I don't know if I'm going to get to the counter with them because I'm seeing this line move late, and it's making me kind of want to stay off and wondering why, to be honest with you. But I lean Mizzou still, but maybe they're a little too public and trendy to back. What are you liking in this game?
I mean, I like Ohio State because the thing is, what makes it, I don't like just following steam in the bowl games because obviously there's something behind it that we don't know. But you don't know how many times a spread has moved towards a team with a quarterback starting his first game of his career. Not many times in this bowl season at all. And the only one that I can remember off the top of my head is Miller Moss for USC. And look how that went for them.
You look pretty good.
So, yeah, he looked fantastic, and they won that game, and their offense dominated. So that's the one part of it for me. Like, I know that everybody says that this guy is an upgrade over Kyle McCord, whatever you want to say. They have a better view in the public eye of him, but that's not how lines work, with all due respect. So, like, seeing this line steam towards him with that being the main factor, regardless of what your thoughts are on Kyle McCord, is very, very strange, especially considering, like, I can only assume with Ohio State, because a lot of these other guys are doing it as well. They're calling it like the soft outs. They're not going to play the whole game. Like, Travion Henderson is not going to play 90% of the snaps in this game. That's just not how it's going to go. So, like, a lot of these guys, even on the defensive side of the ball, are going to do the same thing. So regardless of who's coming back and playing in this game, this is Missouri's Super Bowl. This is the biggest game they've played in God knows how long, because they're not very used to being here. Ohio State is. Now they're playing an SEC team. They're pretty jazzed up for it. So, like, I'm really confused on the movement here, and I think it's definitely telling you something.
Yeah, probably going to keep me off of Mizzou today with this move, but we'll see. Interesting. Definitely thinking Ohio State's the sharp side.
Yeah.
I'll be using my football brain and maybe being a little too biased back in Mizzou on the spread there. But the sharp side has to be Ohio State in that spot with the spread moving up today. And like you said, the motivational factors, right? Everybody is thinking Ohio State is dead and Mizzou is the one who's going to be playing and showing the effort. Ohio State's going to want to beat this SEC team, right? They're going to want to prove to the world that they, maybe deserve a spot in the college football playoffs, or maybe, these young guys who are getting a start today have to, earn their spot for next season, right? Let's not sleep on this Ohio State team. They've got more depth than almost every other squad in the nation. So probably Ohio State's spread is the sharp look there in that game, but I don't think I'm going to get to the counter. I don't.
Yeah, I probably will. And I'll definitely be looking for a live bet in this game too. If, Missouri jumps out to an early lead, which I don't know if that's going to be the game script, but I'll be looking for that for sure. And I don't know, the thing that I keep circling back to, which is kind of funny, kind of a joke, but not. They showed a video of the two coaches in their little press conference, and Eli Drinkwitz is smiling and laughing, and Ryan Day is there, all business. So it's like
locked.
Missouri's not used to being here, and they're happy to be here, and they have everybody playing. So like, why are they nearly touchdown underdogs now with a guy who's never started a collegiate game playing for Ohio State? It's the question.
Great point. That is a great point, my man. Look, Ryan Day's job is never safe either. Okay, he's got to go out there and win this game for the boosters. He's got to go out there and win this game for his job security. I feel like that guy's in the hot seat. He has been for the last fucking 3 years, it feels like. Ryan Day's got to go out there and get a win. And if he's showing up, standing on business, and Mizzou showing up, smiling, laughing, having a good time, fat, happy, and complacent, you guys probably know who to back. Might be Buckeyes tonight. Okay. Sure. W's. Love it. We're going to pivot and talk about these NFL Week 17 games, Javon, and then we'll go over the rest of the games for today. But Goods, run that shit. I want to go over this NFL Week 17 preview. We're getting down to the end of the season. Okay. I don't know how. It's absolutely flown by, Javon. We're already here the last couple of weeks of the season. And I'll be honest with you, I don't love the slate. I don't. I loved it last week. And as you guys saw the results earlier this week, absolutely dominated the slate. Do not love it as much this week. But you know what? That's okay. That ain't no problem. There's still bets to hit. There's still winners to be found, Javon. And why don't we get it started here with a little snooze fest action? I'm going Packers and Minnesota under 43.5 in this spot. Sure, it might sound a little easy, might sound a little square, but the splits look good. Everyone's betting on this over still, and that total is now creeping down. We've heard the news that it's not going to be Mullins anymore at QB, which is a great thing for this under because Mullins not only gives you more of that X factor and can throw the ball downfield a little bit more, but he's also clearly a pick machine. And I want to fade this Vikings offense, who's going to be coming out much more simple and conservative, I think. That's why they're making this move. Kevin O'Connell, he saw what he had with Mullins, right? A lot of deep passes and a lot of picks. This team wants to be more conservative down the stretch and maybe potentially sneak into a playoff spot if they can maybe win out these last couple of games. But it's now or never for Minnesota. I think they take much more of a conservative approach at home in a must-win spot here. And then the Packers as well. I mean, this game, whoever loses this game is 100% out. Whoever wins is probably not going to make it in either. But in a high-pressure situation, a high-pressure spot like this with the total dropping down, I want to back the under. I want to fade these offenses and fade these young QBs who are going to get a look here. And we've also seen a ton of overs in a row for the Packers, at least 5 overs in a row for this team. One of the best over teams this season, 9-6 to the over. I want to fade that narrative as well. Law of averages, that comes back down. And I want to fade both these offenses and back the under in a very intense must-win matchup between these two squads.
Yeah, that's you're brave man for backing the Packers defense after what we've seen the last couple of weeks. So I respect that. I think they get. I still think they get drilled, but you just gotta hope the Vikings defense holds up, which is not a crazy thing to say. I went with this Bills Pats under, which I don't know if you guys all remember, but this was the game that the Patriots won by scoring nearly 30 points earlier in the season when Bill stock was plummeting very, very fast. And to be honest, like that wasn't one of Josh Allen's worst games. He actually played pretty well for a majority of that game, but the defense got drilled by Mac Jones, and they looked awful. So this total being where it is, yes, you have Zappe under center, but he just had one of the best games, if not the best game of his career, and all that Patriots offense did on the road in Denver, which is a tough thing to do against that defense the way they're playing second half of the season. And the Bills offense is looking better than ever. Their defense honestly didn't look great last week for a majority of the game against Easton Stick. And now we're seeing a total at 40.5 below the key number of 41. I think the Bills defense lets the Patriots score 7 points, maybe. And I think they score a touchdown. And I think the Bills absolutely dominate this game. But, with Belichick knowing that team so well, I don't know if they're going to let them run up the score necessarily. But this feels like a 28-7 type game that I'm kind of banking on here.
Okay. We've got some subbies coming in hot. Spade 789 giving out a subby to the team. Love to see that. We got Ron coming in hot, giving out a subby. What the fuck is up, Ron? Hope you're doing well. Need to know what the locks are for today on this Friday and for the weekend. Looks like Trent is going back to the well here. Jokic, rebounds and assists, revenge spot at home. I freaking bet.
Yeah, it's the only
reliable.
Only square that he hits on Prospects. The only one that pops up on his app.
Hey, if it hits, it hits. Okay.
Well, this is the one we had the meat on table collab the first time when I had that Sam Laporta legacy week, and he gave me Jokic RA against the Thunder, and here we are again.
Running it back, Turbo. Running it back. Okay. Did you think about taking the Patriots team total under here instead of just the under in the game?
Thought so, but I'm also taking the Bills. So we'll get to that in a second.
Sure. All right, let's move. Let's groove. Let's talk about some overs that we like this weekend. 2 more exciting games. Javon, you're going with the Cowboys and Lions over. What do you like about that, puppy?
Yes, I mean, it opened, I think, as the highest total in the NFL this season. It started to come down ever so slightly, but I'm not really buying that one, especially with the game script that I think you're expecting here, because the Lions have they're going to be a pass funnel offense. That secondary has been god-awful the second half of the season. They looked fraudulently decent at the beginning of the season, and we now know that's not the case, but they are really strong against the run, and you have no Rico Dowdle, which on paper may not sound like the biggest deal, but when you have a guy like Tony Pollard, who we found out the last couple of weeks is not built to be an RB1, and he can't handle that workload, and he hasn't been consistent enough to prove that, and B, I just don't think he's built to dominate up front like the Lions. You're going to get a big pass funnel from Dak Prescott in the offense, and it's going to work. And whenever it doesn't, it obviously plays well for an over because the clock stops. It's not like you're running the entire game. But you have that, and then you have the Lions, who I think are also going to be in a trailing game script. And I think they'll do whatever they want to that secondary for parts of the game as well. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to absolutely grub. Decent matchup for Sam Laporta as well. I just think I like the matchup for Jahmyr Gibbs too. I think this is a big Gibbs game. I think both these offenses stack up really, really well. I think it's going to be a super exciting game. And another one that I'll talk about in a little bit later, but Cowboys are laying a big number. So, whenever they're laying a big number at home, that's a big Dak game, which I am certainly expecting. And I don't think the Lions are just not going to be able to keep up with the offensive firepower that they have against that secondary. I think it's going to be back and forth for a little bit, and the offenses are going to shine.
Okay, I agree. I'm with you. I can back that play as well as we get an RG300 sub bang for the community. Love to fucking see that, my man. W's. Yes, just paid off my car payments from yesterday's plays. Love to see that. You guys gave us a fire 4-man on college football yesterday. Yeah, Goods. Can we pull that up real quick? Do you mind, Goods? Are we able to pull that 4-piece up right now that we crafted on BTL yesterday, that little college football 4 Geyserman? Because wasn't that a fun sweat? Oh, my goodness. I'd love to gas that puppy up a little bit here real quick. What a 4-piece. What a 4-piece that was. My goodness. Brendan Armstrong, turning to Lamar. Sure. Absolutely electric on the ground. Avery Johnson. That one was never in doubt, Javon. I was about to fucking kill you, and then I found out that it smacked. Unbelievable sweat there.
Unreal.
Ridiculous stat corrections, but we move. Drake Stoops, I mean, the sweatiest of them all. Cannot fucking make it up. I cannot believe you had a 2-piece with Avery and Stoops in it. That would probably kill somebody just based off the stress alone from that 2-piece. And then McMillan should not have been sweaty at all. Kind of was. But that guy, I mean, him and Fafita. Is there a better connection in college football than those two gents? Seriously.
They're so good. They're so good.
I don't know. And look, McMillan was only a sophomore this year. Fafita was a freshman. Guys, these guys, I haven't heard anything about them leaving. I am so excited to see this duo next season. And yes, I know they just went on a fucking crazy ATS streak. I think they were 9-3 this year ATS, or 10-3 with the bowl game. Unbelievable. The books are going to be aware. I'm sure they're going to make them crazy heavy favorites next season after getting burned. But that doesn't mean we can't tip our caps and say, holy shit, those kids can ball. Very impressive. What a comeback from Arizona last night. My God.
People forget too, they're going to be in the Big 12 next year. So I mean,
yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Depending on what defense you face, it's you're getting some pretty bad ones.
Yeah, it could do plenty of
be a
yards.
fun team to watch.
Plenty of yards. Popping right now. Yeah, send the link to your buddies. Tell your boys we're on fire right now, and they need to get in here. All right, share the wealth. If you guys are hitting slips, if you're hitting squad rides, if we're giving you guys winners and not charging you for them, the least you can do is share the link to your buddies in the group chat. Say these guys are on fucking fuego and tune in. Drop the link to your buddies. All right, it helps more than you guys know. That's how you guys can help. All right, we don't need donations. We don't need coins. We're never going to sell the picks. Just send the link. All right, share the fucking show. We want to be the best gambling show out there. We're on the way, but we need your guys' help. Okay, we got Spicy 3 Abby coming in with a sub bang. Lock in. Let's fucking go. And let's lock in the Saints and Tampa Bay over 42.5. Look, the Saints, I think, win this game, and we will talk about that in a little bit too. And if they're going to win this game and keep up with Tampa Bay, it's going to have to soar over. We're seeing this total move up. The Bucs, I mean, talk about a great connection. Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield, unbelievable. That offense is absolutely cooking right now. I don't think they're going to slow down. I don't think they're going to win this game by 20 in this spot. I think the Saints and Derek Carr actually have a pretty good matchup to bounce back after a pretty brutal loss where they started to look good in the second half of that last game and get going, but it was just a little bit too late. It's going to be a Derek Carr game. It's going to be the Saints, and their offense is going to be carrying this over. Love this total. Love that it's moving up a spec. Give me over 42.5 points between the Saints and the Bucs. This should be one of the most exciting shootout games of this weekend.
Yeah, and you know what I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be Rachaad White, masterclass. I think it's going to be Rachaad White versus Chris Olave in this game.
Wow.
So those are two guys that I will be taking in every which way, shape, or form this week. The Saints' run defense has been absolutely god-awful, and Rachaad White is obviously more than just on the ground. He gets used as a Swiss Army knife. He's basically wide receiver 2 or 3 at times for the Bucs. So I think he's going to absolutely grub. And then Olave going up against that soft zone defense, and he's going to be able to beat him deep. Yeah, if you have them both on your fantasy team, you're in a good standing this week, I would say.
Fantasy championship, who would you start, Goff or Mayfield? I mean, that's a win-win, Danny. That's a win-win. I would go the former, probably. I'd probably go Jared Goff. I think that game will have more points. Javon probably agrees, but I don't think you can lose with either of those guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have to say Goff. I guess the one, like, I like the over, but when you think about divisional games, it's probably a little trickier of a situation to go into when you talk about fantasy championship week. But I think it's better game script for Goff potentially, because I think he'll be trailing earlier and probably by more.
Okay. I'm with you. We got T. Louie giving out another subby. T. Louie, you must have cashed last night, Ben. I hope you were tailing our plays, my man. Ken Bands, 24, giving out a subby. We got hella subbies on this Friday, more than we've seen in a while. Love to fucking see it. The vibes are up. The bets are hitting. Let's keep moving and grooving, guys. Take a screenshot of these 2 overs, and we're going to keep on trucking. Let's go to the blowouts of this NFL Week 17. 2 teams we think are going to win and win big, and we finally both have some big spreads here, Javon. Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers against my Commanders. This one is going to be ugly. If there's one thing I know about the 49ers and Shanahan playing against the Commanders or Washington, whatever the hell you want to call them, it's that he takes it personally. Okay, literally the Michael Jordan meme. He takes it personally. We fired his pops. We fired him a couple years ago. And every time we played his team, even when he was down there in Atlanta against the Falcons, they took it personally. And I swear to God, it's Kyle Shanahan. And you're not going to see a more motivated Kyle Shanahan than you are this week against one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the NFL right now at this second. Least motivation, least care, least locked in, most shit show of a team and organization right this very second. The 49ers are going to slice and dice them up. It's going to be ugly. The 49ers lost a speck of confidence last week, right? Brock Purdy was struggling a little bit. You talk about Shanahan for the first time ever, seeing him get worked as a coach, getting out-coached. We don't see that very often. This is the spot we want to be back in Shanahan to bounce back against an organization he hates. He fucking hates our guts, man. I swear to God, you can tell by the way his team plays against us, and we're going to see it again this week against Jacoby Brissett and a dead Washington team that is trying to lose and has a coach on his way out and an owner that is hitting the reset button when the season ends. They are not winning this game. It's not even going to be fucking close. This is a beautiful spot to back the best team in football against a team losing on purpose that is the worst run organization in the history of sports. You guys don't get these opportunities often. Take advantage of them. Lay it with the Niners this weekend, and I'll catch you guys at the counter. They win this game by 20 plus. Give a look at an alt line, folks. It's going to be ugly.
Did you see Jacoby Brissett hurt himself today? So
I'm
it
sure
might
he did.
be it might be Sam
Let's go ahead and
Howell.
add that to the list. That makes sense.
Yeah, but if it's Sam Howell, I can tell you I will punch in. It's probably going to be a god-awful number, but I will punch in a 49ers defensive touchdown like that the second he gets announced as a starter. So, yeah, it's going to be an ugly game. And I know
if Sam Howell plays in this game, he might get hurt.
He might. Yeah.
He might get hurt. I'm worried. I'm not even fucking around. Like, I'm genuinely worried about his health in this game. You got Chase Young running at you, who I guarantee you want to talk about taking something personally? Chase Young coming back to DC, a team that talk about a team that somebody fucking hates. He's hated us since year 2. Oh my God, this is going to be a bloodbath.
Now I will say, whenever I've seen, like a couple of times it has been the Niners, but whenever I've seen the magical 12.5 number, sometimes they cover, but it's never really a like consistent blowout. Hasn't been, at least so far. It's like it's been, I don't know, the one that comes to my head was the Niners against the Bucs, which they ended up covering that number, but winning by 13, but it was relatively around that number for the rest of the game. So I guess we'll talk about some touchdown scores in a second, because I do think the Commanders are going to be a little live to score points at the very least.
Okay.
But I do think the Niners cover. I
Yeah,
went with the Bills. I went with the Bills. I don't think it's weird because, yes, from that first game that the Patriots ended up winning outright when they were, I believe, plus 8.5. It's a little different because now you're getting Bills stock at almost an all-time high, but you could kind of argue the Patriots are kind of at an all-time high of where they are in the season after seeing Bailey Zappi look amazing in Denver in primetime on Christmas with everybody to see. That game was extremely fluky. The defensive touchdowns, the interceptions, all the turnovers, like it was crazy. So I am buying that Bailey Zappi is a little better than I think people say, but not in this matchup against Buffalo in a revenge game from earlier in the season. Again, I don't think they score more than one touchdown in this game. I think the Buffalo defense locks in. I think Josh Allen absolutely masterclasses for part of that game. They get James Cook going, and the run game is going to be really strong. I just think it's an overall destruction by the Buffalo Bills this weekend, heading into that massive matchup, potentially for the division championship next week. So we'll see how that goes.
It's crazy how everybody's flipped on the Bills. I mean, as they should after seeing them play the last couple of weeks. But, man, people were writing them off like they didn't have a fucking chance. And now they're here. I feel good about my future in the beginning of the season. You don't want to get hot early, right? This team is peaking right now. Let's see how they can play out, right? This new offense, getting rid of that terrible OC who came in and ruined that fucking beautiful offense. Looking like they're getting back on track here. James Cook, hold on to the football, brother. And this team wins this game by 20. It's that simple. Okay.
Yep.
W's. Let's go to the upsets of the weekend, Javon. 2 teams we think are going to be covering, potentially maybe even winning outright. And I'm going with the G-Man, sure. Guys, this one is not for the faint of heart. It's really not. But I'm backing the G-Man here with who I believe is Tyrod Taylor, who will be under center. And I prefer that. I would. He's a Hokie. He's a beast. He gets it. Much more consistent, much more reliable, a little bit easier to cap, in my opinion. Reliable Tyrod, who, by the way, has gotten the short end of the stick everywhere he's gone. He's a little bit better than people think. He is. And after getting a game under his belt last week, I think he shines against a Rams defense that is going to be entering this game fat, happy, and complacent. This defense has been playing much better in the second half of the season, but they're not elite, in my opinion. The Giants defense, sneakily good. That secondary, that red zone defense, they can hang a little bit. They've got that weird Stafford interception up. I am pretty confident he's going to throw a pick this weekend too. I think the Giants keep this game within a field goal. It's going to be close. It's going to be sweaty. It's a spot bet. Okay. The Rams are a covering machine. They're 9-5-1 ATS. I'm seeing all over my feed people locking in the Rams to win the NFC and go on to fucking go to the Super Bowl at plus 3,000, whatever. The Rams are the trendiest team in football right this second. They probably should be. They're a covering machine, and they're doing what nobody expected. They're winning games by a lot, and their offense is absolutely electric. I don't doubt that one bit. But this Giants secondary is a little bit better than people think. They're home. Weird shit happens in the Meadowlands, and the Rams are entering this game coming in thinking they could beat everybody, thinking they're the best team in the league. Well, the Giants are going to catch them sleeping here, and they've sneakily covered 4 of their last 5 games. Give me the G-men to make it 5 out of their last 6 and keep this game within 5.5 points. Going to be gross, but they keep it close.
Sure. I got something for you in that game in a second.
Sure.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins, which this is a spot bet, but it's also just a read on the game. Teams that are coming off of playing the 49ers have not been doing very well for obvious reasons, and now you have the Ravens coming off of their Super Bowl and only getting 3.5 points in this game against the Dolphins team who is going to be missing Jalen Waddle. They have injuries at pretty much every single level of their team. Tua even hurt his hand in practice. He's going to play, but literally every single level of this team is super injured, and now they're going into Baltimore on the road against a team who just demolished the 49ers. There's not many people on this earth who want to take the Dolphins, and I don't think if you don't see 4s, 4.5s, I think that's very concerning for any possible Ravens bettors out there. So I think this is the spot to fade the Ravens after that game that they looked absolutely dominant, after Lamar takes over the MVP conversations. Every time somebody new takes over the MVP conversations, they immediately have a shit game the next week. So while I don't necessarily think he's going to have a terrible game this weekend, I do think that this is a really tricky spot against the Dolphins defense and a Dolphins defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, who is very familiar with the schemes that the Ravens run. So I do think that they're going to have a pretty tough time against this Dolphins defense, which Dolphins defense is a little healthier than the offense. So that's what at least they have going for them. I don't think it's going to have to be a shootout necessarily, but you're going to get a massive game from them. It's going to be a Vic Fangio masterclass. It's kind of what you need. I think Tyreek Hill absolutely goes insane too against that secondary where we saw them get shut down, or them shut down the 49ers, one of the most unstoppable attacks in all of football, one of the most unstoppable schemes with Kyle Shanahan in all of football. You know it's more unstoppable? Tyreek Hill's 2 legs. So have fun with that this weekend with no Waddle. They're going to need him. And I think the Dolphins make this one really, really interesting.
I like it. I don't think that team should have won last week, which makes me want to back them more this week. I know they're coming off a big win too, but I don't think they earned it. I think they earned maybe an outright win here in this spot. So I'm with you. And fade that Ravens team coming off that big-time win. You have to. Doesn't matter who they're playing. If you take the other team on the spread, you're probably making coins after that big-time Ravens win. Well, now everybody's saying they're the best team, crowning Lamar the MVP, right? Like you're saying, that's exactly what we want to fade and back the Dolphins here, who can 100% keep up with the Ravens. And their defensive coordinator knows some things about that team too. So I'm so with you. Dolphins on the spread, sure. Chat, 2 teams. I'm telling you right now, one of these 2 squads is going to be winning outright. So maybe a little half-you sprinkle on the MLs here, but 2 teams who I think are going to be keeping these games weirdly close.
Yep.
Okay. Dubs, let's move, let's groove. We've got prize pick squares to talk about. We got prize pick squares, folks. And we've been hot with these. Okay. I'm going Brock Purdy more than 20.5 passing completions. You talked about Shanahan being stubborn last week, not giving up on the passing game. Like maybe he was trying to prove something that this team can win through the air. And maybe Brock Purdy is an MVP type guy. I think they run it back. But this time, the crazy part is, Javon, they're going to have plenty of success against maybe the worst run secondary I've ever seen in my years of watching the NFL and football. It is hilarious. These guys have no clue what is going on in the field. It's a joke. And now Ron Rivera is calling the fucking plays. Okay, Brock Purdy. I think Shanahan in that offense maybe simplifies a little bit, maybe a little bit less of these deep throws down the field, maybe a little more simple, a little bit more screen action for Debo and co, and a little less shots, down 50 yards down the field. I think Brock Purdy keeps it short and sweet, simple, and I think he easily soars over his passing completion square, which, by the way, is pretty fucking high if you look at what he's been doing recently. It's going to be the Brock Purdy dink and dunk show against the Commanders. And he's going to put all those worries and concerns to rest about people talking about him being a system QB and not being that guy. They're all going to go away, and people are going to be back on the Brock Purdy train after this absolutely destructive win. Demoralizing win, you could call it.
Yeah.
Against
I don't know if people will ever be off the anti-Brock Purdy train, no matter what.
Get it.
It's like a lose-lose because, like, anytime he's good,
it.
it's Shanahan. Anytime it's bad, it's because he's a terrible quarterback. I don't know. People usually like the underdog stories, but not this one.
That's
people have a problem.
People said the same thing
why.
about. I mean, it's not the same because he hasn't won any Super Bowls yet, but people said the same thing about Tom Brady with Bill Belichick. And then Tom goes and wins the Super Bowl on his own. And now Bill might be looking for another job next year. So the cream always rises to the top, Javon, and Brock Purdy will prove those doubters wrong this week, especially. Okay,
Yep.
Guys, Ron Rivera. You think Ron Rivera is doing any prep this week, chat? You guys think Ron is getting in the lab and trying to come up with some new schemes or changes to that defense? Guys, Ron is looking at where he's got to buy his next, home to live and retire at. Ron is not making any defensive adjustments. Ron has been told that he's leaving at the end of the season. Thank you for your service, my man. Get the fuck out of here. There's not a single adjustment being made in that clubhouse. If anything, everyone's just looking at their fucking watch, waiting for the season to end. It's a joke. It's going to be an absolute Brock Purdy masterclass against the Commanders defense. And let's keep it in the same game, Javon. I know Jacoby Brissett somehow hurt himself today on a fucking Friday before the game in a practice. Ridiculous. But if he does play, I like his less than passing yards. I think this 49ers defense that just got absolutely carved up through the air last week shines against Brissett and against a team that's not trying to win, especially if he's going to be banged up. And Brissett also has looked unbelievable since he's gone in the last 2 weeks. You're not going to see that against the 49ers this week. Everyone's like, Brissett is the guy. He's showing that Sam Howell is not good. Guys, Brissett went in there in the fourth quarter against backups and did great in 3 series. Okay, give me a fucking break. Brissett is going to look like he's seeing ghosts out there like Sam Darnold. Take his less than passing yards against a defense coming off a bad game that just gave up a ton of passing yards to guys like Zay Flowers and co. It's going to be a whole new defense from the 49ers, and Brissett is going to look terrible. Fatal.
Kind of in. I'm a little worried about garbage time, and I do think you keep it kind of close, but
okay,
might not be a bad look. I'm going with Dak, taking his pass yards. That's definitely my favorite square of the week because, like I said, it's a really bad line secondary they're facing in a high total game where they're laying a big number. They're obviously playing at home where their offense is in their best element. But it's not just that the line secondary is bad. It's that their front seven and their run defense is really good. And you have a situation where the Cowboys' run defense or run attack is not at full strength this week because they have no Rico Dowdle, Rico Dowdle is kind of like their Tony Pollard from last year, where he's a good change of pace back that kind of brings the balance of their rushing attack. So now that they don't have him, I think that's a bigger deal than people realize. And Tony Pollard is having to carry the load as an RB1 against that front seven. They're going to have problems. So, I think the Cowboys are going to win this game comfortably in a high-scoring game, but where's it going to come from? It's going to come from Dak's arm. So, he's going to have plenty of chances. I don't think they have passing attempts or whatever that up yet on Prize Picks, but if anybody wants to take those, that should be a great look as well. But I think he's going to do damage against that secondary. So pass completions, pass attempts, pass yards, whatever you want to take. I'm taking the passing yards here because I think he goes for 300, but it's a Dak game. We'll see that tomorrow night. Another square, Pat Mahomes ain't throwing a pick. That's kind of self-explanatory.
It's one thing we know.
Lowe's.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, now we're starting to talk about it. The Chiefs are washed. They just went up against the Raiders, and he threw the same pick six he threw against them like a year or two ago. It was kind of funny to see that comparison, but he's been bad. The receivers have been bad, but Pat Mahomes, realistically, we got to start having that conversation too. He hasn't been much better as of recently. I don't know if it's just him having to force stuff or whatever it may be, but he's going up against a pretty soft Bengals front, so I like the matchup for him personally, but also the Bengals' rush defense is horrendous, which is why I don't think we're going to see Isaiah Pacheco this week. It's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which I'm perfectly fine with. And I think if you have that opportunity to pick him up off the waiver wire for any of your fantasy teams, I will be starting him in my championship this week. I think he's going to absolutely grub against that run front for the Bengals, which has been getting diced week in, week out. So, I think that's going to make life infinitely easier for Pat Mahomes this weekend. So even if the wide receivers aren't catching passes, whatever you want to call it, I don't think he's going to have to force it nearly as much as he did against the Raiders because they were playing really, really well against Pacheco on the run. They were stuffing him every chance they got. A lot of the defenses they've played in the last couple of weeks have kind of done the same thing to the run game at times. The Bengals ain't going to do that. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, as crazy as this sounds to say, in 2023 might be the key to that offense kind of controlling the game, making Pat Mahomes kind of coast.
Well, that's crazy to hear. That's crazy to hear. Do you think the Chiefs get back on track and get a big time win and cover in this spot?
I don't love it. I'd say my gut tells me it's going to be close. Like maybe the Bengals cover, but Chiefs win by 4. But I think I don't think the Chiefs are like not going to be able to move the ball. I think the issue is going to be Jake Browning going blow for blow with them more so than Pat Mahomes throwing the ball to the other team or them not being able to catch the ball or whatever it may be. Just I love the Chiefs run game this week, and I think that controls it. So we'll see how their defense holds up.
Okay. We will be seeing. Literally. We will. W's. Let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving. We've got some meat on tape plays. Two of our favorite NFL plays of the weekend. Javon texted me. Oh, we got Trent up here. Sure. What's up, Trent? There he is. What's up, Beast?
Tens.
Cowboys Mega Max.
How about that?
Wow.
How about them apples? Crazy.
Yeah, back to him.
Who would have thought?
That
Javon, go ahead.
Man, that shit sucked the soul out of my Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I mean, they had absolutely no business losing that game the way they played. I mean, if you would have told me they held the Dolphins to a singular touchdown in that game and they didn't win, I'd say you're smoking something. But
yeah,
they going back to them this week. Whatever number you got, I know there's 6 still hanging out there. There's 4.5 still hanging out there. So I don't know where the line's going to end up settling, but I got a 5.5. I think they win this game by a touchdown, maybe more against the Lions. Because like I talked about, Lions secondary is going to get gashed. Kind of like the Cowboys weirdly don't want a team that's really bad against the run. Because like I know it worked in some instances when they're playing inferior teams, but like they want a pass funnel defense, which is what the Lions are going to give them. The secondary has been terrible. And now they're playing in Dallas. That's where their offense is in its best element, obviously. So like I think they roll in this game, and the fact they opened as high as they did, I think was a really, really telling, even at home after the Lions just had the biggest win of, I don't know, ever since, I don't know, Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford were thrown to each other. They just won the division for the first time in 30 years or whatever it may be. And they really had a tougher time than they probably should have with Nick Mullins starting for the helm of the other team. So I think the Cowboys absolutely roll in this game. I'm not scared to go back to them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you start Montgomery?
No.
What about Laporta?
Yes.
And obviously Amon-Ra.
Yes.
Yeah.
Montgomery is the only one that I'm kind of worried about because I feel like the game script is a little more Jahmyr Gibbs-ish than David Montgomery. I think, which is not a bad idea for Montgomery, but you're kind of banking on a touchdown. Like I don't think he's going to go and get 16 carries for 100 yards. I think it's more Lions are trailing Gibbs, a lot of receptions. They need the speed run game on the outside because you're not going to pound the Cowboys kind of in between the tackles. So it screams more Gibbs than Montgomery for me this week.
All right.
Okay.
My team, my friends league is like half Lions. So every game for fantasy depends on like if Lions ML hits or not. But I'm sitting Montgomery and starting Laporta and Amon-Ra.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what's on the board too that I'm taking? Probably my favorite one of the category, not just because he's in it. They have a combo touchdown square. Sam Laporta and Brandon Cooks.
Huh.
So I'll be in on that.
Cook's been grubbing.
Didn't Cooks just score last week, though?
Yeah.
He did. He made the big touchdown catch in the corner, which should have been the dagger. But yeah, he's. I still like the both of them this week. Laporta didn't do anything last week, which is why. I mean, thankfully, I did not take him, and I thought he was not going to do very much, which was shocking that he goose egged for so long. Yeah, but I like him. Brandon Cooks is also up there twice for his own little Russian receiving touchdown square, which that's been a long-standing conspiracy of mine that those somehow magically always turn green.
Okay. Brandon Cooks and the GOAT, Hall of Famer Laporta, touchdown. Sure. Okay.
Before we wrap up BTL today, I need both of your meat on tape PP squares for this for today.
Okay.
At some point.
Sure.
We'll cook.
Sure. 100%. Let me go over this Saints play real quick, chat, and then we can dive into some plays for today. Okay. Saints plus 2.5, maybe the nastiest play on the board this weekend. I don't know. It's definitely up there. Saints probably don't have any business being this short of a dog, but the craziest part is they opened up a favorite in this game briefly. And then obviously the Bucs got steamed up to minus 2.5. And I've talked about this before. I'll say it again. My favorite bet to take in the NFL is plus 2.5. There's just something about it. It fucking prints. And the Saints are coming off of that bad loss to the Rams. where they got destroyed early, crept back in, looked pretty good in the second half, actually. They won that second half, but it wasn't enough. They still didn't cover, but I liked what I saw out of Derek Carr in that offense. I think that's the best they've looked in the second half of that game last week all season. I think they carry that momentum against a Bucs team at home who's coming off of 4 straight wins. 3 of them, covers in a row as freaking dogs. Ridiculous. The Bucs just keep on winning. I like this team. I think there'll be plenty of points in this game. I like the over, but I think it's going to be more Saints and Derek Carr. And like Javon was saying earlier, I think it's going to be the Olave game and him going off against this Bucs secondary that's nothing special. I like the total moving up, and I like the Saints at +2.5 here in this spot when nobody wants to back them. Nobody wants to bet them. They're toast, right? Their playoff chances are caked pretty much mathematically. I'm not giving up on them yet. I want to fade the Bucs mainly in this spot after 4 big wins and 3 straight covers.
Yeah, looks like the easiest play on the board. The Bucs do. No,
It does look like the easiest.
I haven't bought in as much as a fan as I probably should have to this point, and I'll be going to the game, so I'm not taking the Saints. But God, it looks so easy. I'm worried. So worried.
Trent, keep the Bucs out of the surge, please. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I've got nuts on tape for Derek Carr this week, so that wasn't enough.
Shouldn't be hard to keep him out then. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe even put the Saints in there. Fuck it.
Or I don't have nuts on tape, but I'm bought in on Derek Carr.
Yep.
There we go.
And Dilly Dagger's talking about Jamar Chase randomly chirping the Chiefs for no reason. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that makes me want to back the Chiefs even more. It does.
Yeah. Do you have any
weird?
You have any touchdown scores, Crabs? Because I got a few.
We will go over those.
Quickly.
Our guy needs some championship help there, I'm seeing.
Guy says, do I start Laporta or McBride? Trick question. You start both of them.
Honestly, maybe. Honestly, maybe the way they've been cooking.
That's my one punch.
Great one-two punch.
Yeah, McBride has been absolutely cooking. Absolutely cooking. All right. Touchdown scores. Javon, I know you got a couple in your back pocket. Why don't you rip through a couple of your favorites? What do you like?
Yeah.
Who scored
odds that stood out to me, which these are not the plays, but I'll get to in a second. Travis Etienne is going up against one of the worst rushing defenses in the NFL, and they're 6-point favorites, and he's -130. Rashad White is favored at home, going through another rush defense that's been god-awful, and you can use him in the receiving game too. He's also -130. Everybody knows Derrick Henry's history against the Houston Texans, and he's -130. You want to know who's -135 this week?
Who?
The 5.5-point underdog for the Giants. Saquon Barkley is -135 to score a touchdown. I know he just scored last week, but as a 5.5-point underdog against the Rams front seven, which is a significant difference from the other 3 that I was talking about, this seems very Chuba Hubbard-esque of like, why is he so juicy to score a touchdown? He's not juicier than Kyron Williams. That's never really going to be a case, but that seems like the biggest standout price to me out of any of the touchdown scorers. So I'll be taking Saquon this week to get in the end zone. It's probably my favorite.
They don't have that.
I also, if we're talking about weird stuff that's up, go to the Prize Picks board because this one is on the Prize Picks board. Saquon is not. The Commanders have a couple interesting names on the board.
Yeah.
Chris Rodriguez Jr. is not up, but I'll tell you who was looking at me really, really funny.
That was also so goated.
That was. What a call.
Curtis
First
Samuel
2 touchdowns ever in that guy's career. Unbelievable.
Look at Curtis Samuel, Crabs, on the board.
I'm looking at his odds right now, too. I know.
Not a demon.
It is a demon. So it doesn't say when you put up the chart. So Curtis Samuel, in a game where the Commanders, whether it's Brissett or whether it's Sam Howell, this screams like gadget play usage when they're trailing and trying to get back in this game, especially if they somehow hang around, which the 12.5 lines typically have. It's going to be in a super strange way. It's like Curtis Samuel, anytime the Commanders actually show any sort of offense when you really don't expect them to, it's guys you would never expect for it to happen with. And Curtis Samuel being up for a touchdown against the 49ers in a bounce back spot, that screams Chris Rodriguez Jr. to me.
Okay.
So,
and I'll tell you what,
jet sweep.
Jahan Dotson, his receiving yards is a little bit low this week, I thought. So maybe he won't be targeted. I know him and Curtis deke it out for snaps. Curtis has outplayed him all season. Good sign for Curtis that Dotson's receiving yards square is pretty low this week.
I don't know whose goat whale it is, but one of y'all needs Dotson to catch a couple more passes.
I do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
He's not doing
Need
it.
to lock in.
No,
Need to
dude,
lock in.
fucking say that.
He ain't doing it, bro. Dotson ain't him, bro.
Yeah,
He literally hasn't caught a pass. He's going through his Gabe Davis phase right now. He hasn't fucking caught a pass in a month.
Dude, Gabe Davis is flirting
Back?
with
locked in. Lost in last week.
We're gonna need some big 2 weeks here to close it out. Mine's caked because Mike Evans already soared over. He's a Hall of Famer. Put him
shit
in.
pick from both of us.
I could get a 2x
No, you can't.
potentially here.
Jalen Hurts only needs 100 pass yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust me, I was up late last night looking at it.
He's crushing the numbers.
It was always the picks, and then PODP
picks
talked me
was
off the POD picks. It was always the fucking picks, man. Whatever.
Well,
Okay.
we're talking about Mike Evans. He's getting the end zone again.
Dude. Okay.
He hates the
He
Saints.
gets in the end zone every week.
He does, and he's going to do it again. I won't talk about that one too much, but no Lattimore. That they're going to score points somehow, some way. I like Rashad too, but it's going to be Mike in the end zone. So I'll be on him as well, partially because I'll be at the game rocking the jersey, but I have to do it. I don't usually bet green charts like that, but with Mike Evans, exception to the rule. And the last one, another price that really stood out. The Eagles are very obviously massive favorites against the Cardinals this week. And the Cardinals, what are they known for? Having one of the worst run defenses in the league. If not, I guess at this point, they might be the worst run defense in the league. So you would think DeAndre Swift would have some juice to him, or maybe even like a Gainwell would look lower. Boston Scott wouldn't really look lower because everybody took him last week. That was a good bet, right? You know who's juicier than DeAndre Swift after being relatively dormant for a couple of games? A.J. Brown. We got the dogs barking, bro. They love it. They love it.
They're like an A.J. Brown. They're going fucking bonkers for A.J. Brown. Jesus.
Going bonkers, bro. So A.J. Brown is scoring a touchdown. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Okay. A.J. Brown finding the end zone this week. Sure. Been a couple weeks. Been a month. Okay.
Been a while.
Trent, I have my square for today.
Oh.
Rocco Becht, less than half a passing interception for Iowa State today. 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Not sure why that's up. I've seen a lot of college squares with those pick squares up, and they all soar under. And this one will as well. They're laying 10.5. He's thrown 4 picks in his last 5 games. He ain't throwing one today against Memphis.
Okay.
Rocco Becht, less than half an interception. Lock that puppy in.
Every single Iowa State line has been getting steamed hard in the past hour. Like Beck's passing yards have gone up 20 yards. Abu Sama, their running backs yards have gone up almost 15 at this point. It's they might just destroy.
They might just destroy.
You like that pick square, Juwan?
I mean, I took his passing yards. I think he's got a master class, but I have no issue taking the picks either. Memphis defense is god awful.
Do you still like him at 226.5, Javon?
I do.
Do you happen to have your square, Juwan?
Don't know that I do yet.
That game is at 3:30, just so you know.
Yeah, if you want an early pair with that, I have an early pair that starts in 20 minutes. If you want to just keep those out of the regular entry and you want no early cake.
Should I do that?
You can. It's up to you.
Krabs, do you have an alternative?
I can find one after stream real quick. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you can play that. Play the interception square with Jeremiah Love over rushing yards for Notre Dame.
Ooh, you were talking about him earlier.
He's going for 100 today. The only slightest bit of concern with him is that there's going to be a couple guys rotating in for Notre Dame, but he's the guy who's been the slight grubber of carries from Audric Estime all season. It's he against a Oregon State team who's probably not going to be as physical as people are used to. He's going to dominate this game, especially with there's obviously no Sam Hartman either, so they're going to need some crutch for them to dominate in this game. Jeremiah Love it is. There we go.
Okay. I'm in on that. I locked in that 2-piece as well. And then
Tavares, huh?
Trent, if we get you our squares right after BTL, you want to get the rest of the squads and then you can craft it up.
I've got Lawrence, which is Brady Cook's pass yards.
Okay.
I've got Mikey's, which is Trey Young PRA.
Okay.
Waiting on Shelyard's I'm waiting on your guys.
Okay. All right. We will get you those probably in the next 45 minutes. Okay. I don't want to just give you a square right now that I haven't double checked.
Yeah.
Looked at the Carfax. So
We'll
I want to hit this puppy. We've been looking more at squares for this weekend, and we did wrap up the NFL talk chat. Do not forget about those meat on tape plays, chat, for that week 17 NFL preview. And you can always go back and rewatch BTL this weekend when you're locking in your plays. You just go back to Book It Sports on YouTube or Twitch, and you rewatch the episode. You can always go back and find it. It's not tough. You just scroll to find the graphic on the screen, and then lock in your NFL plays with us again if you don't want to fucking write these down or remember them. But keep Dallas -4.5 and the Saints +2.5, chat, in your back pocket for this weekend. Okay?
do it.
W's. Javon, you went over some ATTSs. I think we pivot and talk about a couple other plays for today in college basketball. I know there's an NHL play you have to go over, but let's touch on the
honestly,
college basketball board.
Why don't we start from that? And then we can circle back to the rest of the NHL board if we need to, because I feel like this deserves its full time.
Okay.
The Kraken
You
are
dive in.
winning a hockey game today.
Before you dive
What's up,
into it,
Trent?
I have a suggestion for a future BTL segment.
Sure.
Suggest.
Going through the popular tab and picking the fades.
I'll tell you that first
Yeah.
one is not a fade. I'll tell you that right now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Very rare. I don't
Interesting.
even see that on mine though.
Yeah, I don't know why.
You don't
But-
see the popular tab on yours?
No, I don't see popular tab.
Gonna update that puppy.
I guess something's got to happen.
Hmm.
But yeah,
But yeah,
we'll
no, that would
definitely do
work. That would work. I mean, come on.
That's
We're
right
giving
up.
us free ammo there. You know?
That's where Trent makes the super goats from.
Yeah, you just pick the most popular plays, sure. Oh man.
All right. Well, Kraken money line. Back to the ice. That's a line in a game that just simply has to be played. Flyers off the back-to-back, they just dominated the Canucks on the road, which not many teams in the NHL can say they've been able to do this year. They dominated them on the road. They've had a couple big wins on the road. They beat the Yotes on the road too. I remember we took that really nasty line where they got a lot of line respect in that game. They were favored, which not many teams are going to be in Mullet Arena either, with how dominant the Yotes have been at home. And now they're going to Seattle against the Kraken. Not really a crazy travel spot because they're going from Vancouver to Seattle, but nonetheless traveling to Seattle, and the Kraken are -135, which is fat. And this would be a little different. I know Samuel Ersson, who is the backup, has been really good as of recent, but it would be a little different if he was in net. He was in net last night and then got hurt. And then Carter Hart had to come in to clean up the rest of the game, where he didn't really do much, didn't get tested. I think he faced like 8 shots or something like that. Didn't give up a goal. Now you get Carter Hart starting again. So this is a Carter Hart start on the road against the Kraken, and the Kraken are -135. That is one of the more telling prices I think we've seen in recent hockey. And the Kraken are a team kind of buying into a little bit. I think they're going to start to play better the second half of the season. Not make a crazy push, but I do think they're going to be better. But that line, super, super telling. It's like, I will have to play the Kraken in this game, and I would recommend you all do as well.
I'm in. This will be in the squad ride vote. It probably should win. This is one of the nastier lines I've seen all week. Any sport. Javon and I were talking about it a little bit last night. He found this one and immediately hit me up and was like, yeah, look at this fucking hockey bet tomorrow. And I was like, okay, I'm in. Just by looking at the fucking spread. They got no biz, and I know the Kraken steal coins, but laying -135 against the Flyers? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
Are you
crazy.
kidding me? Ridiculous. Are there any prize pick squares up, like maybe a guy cracking more than half a point or an assist or anything like that you'd love to take and kind of pair with the
No,
Kraken?
I don't
on the
think they have
ML?
any. I don't think they have any super weird squares up today. I really would have loved if they did, but I don't think they really do. So I'll have to figure something out there for probably SOGs. I don't think they have any points or assist squares that are super, super weird up. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to dominate this game more so defensively than anything. I don't think it's going to be super high scoring. So maybe that's why, but they're winning this game. And yeah, Austin Matthews assist. Shout out that square. That square prints almost every time it's up.
Okay.
Vince.
All right. All right. How about a BTL 4-piece today, Jake? You want us to run back to 4 geyser?
Yeah.
Prize picks after yesterday. That was one of the best sweats we've had in a minute.
Please.
That 4-piece was awesome. We could definitely craft up a little Geyserman 4-piece here towards the end. Javon, any other hockey plays you love that you want to let the people know about?
No, we can slide back to college basketball.
Okay.
Or I guess I could just mention this. I won't really sell it.
You need to
It's
talk
a
about your play here.
system play. Yeah, Blazers and Spurs are playing for the second night in a row. They were -3.5, I believe, last night. Spurs beat them outright. Wemby, absolute masterclass, and now the Blazers open 4.5, and they're up to 5.5. I bet I'm taking the Blazers. What? Keep it simple.
That's an absurd line.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Keep it healthy. Portland's -5.5. They've won 1 game in the last week and a half-ish. Spurs are coming off of that outright win against the same team. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Crabs.
And that spread in that game was +3, and they won outright. Now it's even fatter. I bet.
Why is fucking Kuzma chirping the Pistons when his team has just 2 more wins than them?
I don't know, but I would not be looking for Kyle Kuzma for advice on how to be a better person or doing stuff that makes sense. Kyle Kuzma says and does what he wants, and that is ridiculous if he is chirping the Pistons with how bad that Wizards team is this season. What did he say?
Oh, he just said, like, at this point, you just don't want to be that team that loses to him.
Dude, we're literally that team. The Wizards are literally
they
that
might
team,
be that team
bro.
in like a week or two.
See, this is the problem with these guys and with the Wizards and why they don't win is because they think they're LeBron James, all of them. And Kuzma's been doing his job this season. Okay, I got no qualms with Kuzma. Since he's come over here, he's got better. He's done his job, and he has lived up to his pay. But nobody else has. And comments like this are hilariously stupid. Hilariously stupid. I mean, we are just as bad as the Pistons, if not worse, you could say. And we play them in less than a month. So now they're going to put this up on their fucking locker room and have bulletin board material for when we play them in less than a month. Nuts. And wouldn't that be fitting if that's the game that they fucking finally win? I'm rooting for that. I hope that happens after this tweet. So stupid. What are we doing, people? Yeah, sure. 5 wins. You can talk a lot of shit. Oh, that team being 5-25. What, dudes? What? Oh,
yeah. I mean, if you watch the Pistons, they look honestly better than the Wizards. I just don't know how they keep doing it.
They're playing with real heart now.
Yeah, they are.
Well, like I was talking about with Trent last night, like these guys, especially the basketball players, they're all on social media. Okay. You don't think those fucking graphics that popped up on one of those guys' feeds? Come on, dude. You don't think one of those betting graphics, we're talking about the Pistons haven't won a game since Nam, the Pistons, if you bet every game, rolled it over, you're literally a bazillionaire. I don't think they've not seen one of those.
I hate those tweets.
Yeah. And the more tweets you see of those, the less you want to actually back the Pistons. Remember? Just like last night. We wait till it's silent, and then we strike with the Pistons. Maybe this weekend against Toronto, Javon, like you were talking about.
Saturday.
1,000 bang.
We got a rack in here, rackaroons.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, we do have a rack in here.
Let's go, Goods. Sure.
Huge.
Fuck yeah.
We got a Trent unit in here.
Viewer bots.
Massive.
A Trent unit. Okay.
I don't know what the fuck's going on with these viewer bots.
Unbelievable. It says, I'm looking at the breakdown, 858 in Twitch.
Yeah.
Oh. Interesting.
We take those.
All right. Bradley Beal's back tonight. Fade him. You can put him in the 6-piece, Trent. Bradley Beal less than points. Boom. Done. All right. Javon, we got to craft up a weekend craft sesh, but we'll do that off the cam this afternoon for the people. Okay. We got to run back that freaking Hail Mary lay that we smacked last weekend. People forget plus 1,900 5-piece. Hold the fry. Okay. We're running that back again this weekend, chat. Get ready for the Hail Mary dropping this afternoon. And then the 5 guys prize picks entry. We got to put some time into that, Javon. Again, 4 for 5 last week, man. Not going to cut it. Okay. We'll do those off the cam right now. We'll get the squad ride going here in a second. But do we want to craft up a little 4 guys on prize picks for the people? We have to. A little encore after yesterday's 10Xer? Have to.
Might have to,
right?
Yeah.
All right. So 4-piece. Hold the fry. I know we put that 2-piece out there, Javon. You're loving that love guy. No pun intended.
I do.
71.5 yards. Is that your favorite square right now of the day?
Probably is, yeah.
Okay. So I think we keep that one in there. And I think we go
Get
from there.
started early.
I think we get it started early. Why not? Why not? And again, we don't have to tweet this one. This is for the people watching BTL who are in here every day trying to cash with us, just like yesterday. We didn't tweet that entry.
Yeah, it's
That's just for the
exclusive.
people who watch BTL and their fucking riders. I think we go Love, rushing yards. Let's see. Any other squares that were looking at you funny, Javon? I mean, we could always put the fucking Iowa State QB in there if we wanted to.
I mean,
or
I'm
we could start
down.
digging.
I'm down to put him in there. It's something that can be your call since you like the interception square.
Would you rather pivot to the passing yards for this one?
Trent saying no.
I
Trent
mean,
wants
I'll
the
tell you right now,
interception.
he's not throwing a pick.
Yeah, I'm fine with taking that.
He's not throwing a pick. And I have no qualms doubling down with the two beasts that we already like. I never have qualms with that. I'm quality over quantity guy. So, okay.
We'll put the pick
We'll
in there.
Yep. We'll put his pick in there. Okay. What else, bro?
What about Carnell Tate tonight? Somebody's got to be the guy because you're obviously the speculation with the line and everything kind of makes you think maybe Marvin Harrison has the slightest chance of playing. Even if he plays, he's going to do the soft out stuff like everybody else. I don't think he's going to play, but even if he does, I don't think it's a problem. But somebody's going to have to step up. Egbuka is going to be playing. Carnell Tate's going to be the guy. Cade Stover is also not 100% healthy and may not play full share of snaps too. So, like, I would say, and yes, he did get recently bumped too, which is probably a pretty good sign there. But
I've got an Ohio State super fan in my mentions all the time, and I woke up to a fucking tweet from this dude. He must have woken up and asked Crack a Dawn today. He's fucking lit up for the game, saying take Carnell Tate when he was at like 45 earlier today, saying he was going to be the guy today going off. I will trust people who know their teams like that and angles like this, and seeing him get bumped up now to 53.5. I'm in.
Yeah.
And I love that angle of fading Marvin Harrison when everyone's going to be acting like he's going to go off for 200 yards today. Guys, come on. He's
not going to play. I don't. People think he's going to play. I doubt it.
It's a $30 million man. You think he's going to go out there and play his fucking heart out and potentially risk an injury? Come on. That'd be dumb.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
We have 3 winners. What's the last?
Yeah, Trent's saying cut the shit. Let's lock in.
Well, this game,
we've got Jeremiah Love, Rocco Becht, Carnell Tate. I like those squares a lot. And remember, it doesn't have to be college football. If we needed another square we wanted to pull in, we could always just put Bradley Bielsa in there and go about our day. We could.
Anything works.
Anything works.
As long as it's green. You're telling me there's not one weird hockey square up there, Javon, that's just staring at your fucking soul?
I'm going through them now, looking to see if anything like really, really stands out. Oh, I mean, I'll tell you what is on the board that has been a near autoplay. That Alex Ovechkin assist.
Jesus, dude.
I mean, I love taking a lot of like the bigger players just when they're up for assists, period. But I really kind of like the Caps today. So that's one that's looking at me. I don't love it though, but it's usually one that I just play no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could go Austin Matthews, who's also on the board.
Or we could go Devin Brown, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns for Ohio State today.
Ooh, Ohio State stack.
Mm-hmm. Take a look at that chart. I know the kid has not played at all, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I feel like the chart's not incredibly valid.
Like you talked about, right? This kid's, we're seeing the line move towards Ohio State's with the backup QB. We have not seen many lines move towards these backup QBs going in. Maybe he goes off today and has a day. I would not mind Mo stacking him.
Wouldn't mind keeping that on the burner here.
6 minutes.
6 minutes.
We got time.
We got time. We got a little bit of time.
Okay. What about we could go that OB square. We could, gosh, man, we could back Devin Brown. Are we thinking there's going to be points in that game? Whoa. Are there going to be points in that game?
Oh, he's getting bumped.
Right, my precious sweet
again.
Cock. It's all right. We're still riding.
I know.
Still riding.
Do we want to stack Devin Brown, Javon?
I think I've found it.
You found it.
It's also a capital. You see he's up for a point, Krabs?
Please tell me it's Kuznetsov.
It's not Kuznetsov. He's been a wagon too, and he's up for a point. It's Tom Wilson
Really?
in a 5.5 total game with a heavily red chart. And it's Tom Wilson.
Huh.
Click on that chart, Goods. Or I guess
I could
Travis
be
is
down to
pushing
back
it.
some T. Wilson, the fan favorite for
might
the
be it.
Caps. Why is that
That
up?
might be it right there. That's not up
Why
very
is that
often.
up? Okay. I mean, dude, I'm down to back Tom Wilson. If you like the Caps, I mean, we know that square is weird to be up, but if you like the Caps today, I'd rather take that than Ovi, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Ovi pass or the puck in a decade.
I'm ready for that.
Okay. Okay. Tom Wilson, sure. Let's add him in here, and let's see how this puppy looks. 4 Geyser. We've got Jeremiah Love, more than 71.5 rush yards. We've got Rocco Becht, less than half a pick. Tom Wilson, more than half a point. And Cardinal Tate, more than 55.5 receiving yards. That's a 4-piece I believe in. That's a 4-piece I can co-sign. And that's a 4-piece I can lock in.
Yeah.
I have some quick insider news that you guys will find hilarious.
Sure.
Xavier Worthy of the Longhorns DM'd Lauren last night saying to set him up with Ruby Rose. He ain't fucking locked.
Good Lord, bro.
He's so not locked in.
We are, what, 3 days before the game?
So Ruby Rose followed Lauren on Instagram for whatever fucking reason. I don't know why. But I guess Xavier saw that and slid in her Lauren's DMs and said, yo, put me on.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And Lauren goes, we might lose outright.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is not a good sign for the boys.
I mean,
At all.
Penix is lipping his chops here and that. That's crazy.
Not good. Yeah, give me Washington. It's official. Give me the plus 5.5. We might need them, but I'm not betting fucking Longhorns after hearing that shit. Jesus.
Yeah, good Lord.
So not dialed. Oy. Okay. Chat, 4-piece. Hold the fry. Let's rip through this one more time. Jeremiah Love, more than rush yards. Rocco Becht, less than half a pick. Tom Wilson, more than half a point. And Cardinal Tate, more than 55.5 receiving yards. 4-piece. Hold the fry. Okay.
There we go.
W's. Chat. It's about that time. Goots, run that shit. Squad ride. Let's smack one. Let's fucking go, chat. Let's stay hot. Let's keep hitting bets. Arizona ML last night was free, right, Trent? Let's craft up 5 winners. Javon, in there, right?
Yep.
Have to put them in there. There we go. See ya. All right, cracking her in there. Sure. I love Iowa State, but that starts up in what, 30 minutes, dude? We have
hour and a half.
we have time for that game. I mean, I love that play so much so that I would like to honestly put it in here.
Okay. Put it in.
But yeah. We'll let chat decide if they want to do an early one or not.
Yeah.
Iowa State minus 10.5. Sure. We've got you didn't get to go over McNeese State, but that's a good looking play too.
It's kind of a slightly biased play, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But I've
Can we
been
put
looking at
Portland
that
in
game
there,
for a minute. Yeah.
Put
Down for
in
that.
there? Okay. Sure. Guys, my college basketball play today I like is Omaha plus 1.5. I do not love the college basketball board today at all, but that is my favorite play on that slate. So we've got Seattle ML, Iowa State minus 10.5, Portland minus 5.5, W diversity with these plays. What else, Javon? What else?
What else do we have tonight?
We've got, I mean, we always could put McNeese in there.
We could. I'm always down for tonsils to McNeese. I've been staring at that game. I've been talking about that game for like a week now, maybe more.
Why don't we put that in there with Omaha, our 2 favorite CBB plays as of right now?
I'm down. Let's do that.
Nice plus 10.5. And we'll go Omaha plus 1.5. That is a nasty bet. Okay. Chat. 5 plays, 5 winners. You have 1 minute. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Go, go, go. All right. Anything on this Stony Brook basketball game? Yeah, I don't love Stony Brook today. That's all I'll say there, chat. But get your votes in. Hurry up. You got 1 minute to lock in the squad ride votes. Okay. We're going to craft up a 5 guys in Hail Mary this afternoon for you and post it on the Book at BTL Twitter. You guys know where to find us. Okay. We've been smacking bets, working our butts off, finding you guys winners. Make sure you guys check out the Twitter account this afternoon and this weekend for more plays to tap. Okay, we got you covered through the weekend. College football, college basketball, the whole 9 yards, NFL, you name it, we're betting it. Okay, lock in the squad ride votes. It's looking like the Kraken are running away with it, which I have no qualms about whatsoever, Javon, at all.
None.
0. And then we've got a lot of questions about this Ohio State game before we wrap up, Javon. Final thoughts?
Ohio State by a lot is what I would think. OHIO.
All right, chat. My favorite play today is Iowa State minus 10.5 on the gridiron. Love that Seattle ML though for the squad ride. Excited to sweat that one out. A little late night play on the ice for the kids. Okay, W's. Hell yes. We will post the NFL weekend preview as well on Twitter, along with some ATTS scores for the weekend. Make sure you guys stay tapped in. Stick around for the Surge stream starting up right now. Okay, and we'll catch you guys. Yes, have a great New Year. Okay, we're probably not going to see you until the new year, but have a great New Year's. Okay, be safe. Okay, don't blow your bankroll when you're absolutely shit-faced and hammered. Lock the bets in before. That's the only advice I'll give you. Okay, and we'll catch you guys at the counter after the Seattle ML squad ride cashes tonight. All right, boys?
Let's do it.
Dubs.